What's up, everybody? Core Use Bloody History. We're going to wrap up this book today, Remnants of Truth by Thomas Beckham, or as he put it, Beckham, because now he's a Jew all of a sudden. So we're probably going to have a shorter episode because this is probably going to be wrapped up here in like 20, 30 minutes. But we'll be back with more. We're going to continue with the testimony of Lillian Moret when we come back tomorrow. So let's continue. Chapter Larry Flynt. By now you might be asking yourself, why is he writing anything about Larry Flynt, publisher of the well-known pornography magazine The Hustler? Mr. Flynt has been shot and become paralyzed. He has been sued for millions of dollars, indicted, convicted, and even sent to prison numerous times. But none of this has ever stopped him from speaking out on what he believes and knows is right. Some people may even call him a nutcase who publishes garbage, but I see him in another light. He fights for the rights of all Americans, for our rights of privacy and our right of free speech. Mr. Flynt has spent millions of his own dollars as well as most of his life defending what America was founded upon. He's the one person who knows a government hustle when he sees one, and he has stood up alone before federal judges, congressmen, and even presidents. For our great nation to remain great, we must do as this fine American has done, not by writing a magazine, but by standing up for each other. Conspiracies in our government goes on around us every day, but we do not have to tolerate them. Remember, America stands for we the people, and we should never be forced to accept scattered bits and pieces of truth and untruths by any part of our government or political party. Unfortunately, unless we the people do something, things will get worse. We need to learn how to watch what is going on around us in America and how to decipher it. We need to give our circumstances when things are not right. We must demand our elected officials to have integrity. This also holds true with our news media. We must openly voice our opinions to them in writing or open form. We must build our nation upon God as it was founded, not on man-made religions, of which many have caused even bloodshed. I say this because many people who claim they have God in their lives are closer to religion than they are to God. I feel that many of us could take a lesson from Mr. Flynt as to being one who stands up for his freedom. Liz Smith, the nationally syndicated columnist, wrote this about Larry Flynt. I personally think this very complicated man is a true patriot. The establishment fears and despises him. Still, he is the kind of other voice America always needs. Blessings and honors. Today I'm blessed as a public speaker on the psychology of religion, the master plan of salesmanship, natural healing, as well as a number of other subjects. I've been honored with several awards and honors to my credit, such as the Barony of Cox, Lord of Wolstaston, Knight of Malta, among many others, of which I am very proud to have received. I've also received many personal honors from sheriffs and other law enforcement agencies. To date, this book could not hold all the awards and honors that I have received and is nothing to anyone other than me. But for myself, I'm very proud to have received them. Funny as it may sound, a couple of international security agencies have offered to hire me to help them with their security needs, and on the other hand, a number of people have asked me to help them fix someone or something, which was out of the question for me. It's almost crazy when I think about what some people have asked me to do over the years. A couple of men wanted me to open a private international fugitive recovery and private intelligence agency, but I did not find the same glamour in it as they did. It also could have been someone seeking to set me up for some reason or another. I've even acted as a special undercover agent for a powerful rich man who was sure someone was going to kill him. Thank God he's still alive after 20 years. I knew how he really felt even with all his money. Fear has a way of controlling us in more ways than one. He had a partner who had a large business type insurance on him. If he died, the partner would get the business plan, a lot of money. The partner then got real mad at this, saying that he would fix his ass. My job was to watch both men, making sure he stayed alive. I recorded phone calls, checked his home, office, and cars for whatever. I even made 2 out-of-state business trips with him acting like I worked for this company. I even worked for a congressman as a special undercover agent. He wanted me to check out his people as well as other political group. I guess this was Watergate on a much smaller level. He stayed in office for some time. I don't think it's right to give his name. He's still alive and doing well. He's no longer in office. He told me when I ran into him at an airport about 10 years ago. He asked if I was still doing special jobs. I told him I was trying to do now is serve the Lord and stay alive. I asked him if he missed being in the public spotlight, and he quickly replied, no, not at all. He said he'd often thought about me and If I was still in the undercover business, I wished him the very best as we parted. I've even worked to recover 2 missing teens in Mexico who were gone for nearly 8 months. They had left home to be with their boyfriends. I was happy to recover them for their parents. This was one time I was sure I was going to get killed. The 2 young men were deep into drugs with a gun shooting at me. I fired back while I was counting how many bullets I had left. Thank God I first seen what type of gun and caliber they were trying to kill me with, so I knew how many bullets they fired. After this ordeal of a gun battle was over, about 60 miles outside of Mexico City, Mexico, I had to act like I was going to kill them all, so I could tie them up. Getting back to the U.S. was another fight, one even more frightening than the gun battle. I had to put the girls in the trunk of a car. They wanted to stay with their junkie boyfriends. The trip back to their home seemed to take forever. I had to stop, pull off the road, and feed them and give them water. Then there was the off-the-road bathroom stops that seemed to take forever. When I was 125 miles from their hometown, I called their parents and had them meet me. They paid me well, but even today I ask myself, was it worth it? I learned later that the 2 girls had to undergo drug treatment and still may be in drug counseling. One job I'll never forget, when a 47-year-old woman asked me to help her leave her abusive husband. He was a wealthy man who thought he owned his wife. I helped her relocate with a new ID and put together a cover for her from her abusive husband. I even helped her get a divorce in Mexico that was served on him in the U.S., and it was legal. To this date, I still hear people who believes I can help them. I still hear from people who believes I can help them one way or another. Sadly, I also must say there are people who don't even know me or very little about me and put out lies after lies about me. This helps me to remember that the most violent element in any society is ignorance. Now, as a rabbi, I call to mind the purpose of the laws of Torah. It is to promote compassion, loving kindness, and peace in the world. Moses Maimonides. And the Talmud says the wicked are called dead even when they are still alive. The righteous are alive even when they are dead. To those who claim they know me or some of the things that I have done, please remember a half-truth is a whole lie. The Talmud says, judge a man only by his own deeds and words. The opinions of others can be false. Even when I'm sick and depressed, I love life. The gift God gave me, and what I do with it is my gift to God. I welcome new ideas and new concepts and prepare them for digestion and assimilation. There are more questions than there are answers. For every answer, there will be more questions. Like a blade of grass, we all must grow. Your training has caused your arena of thought to be able to do anything without concern. You exist and don't exist for all purposes. The agency. The author of this book writes the word Lord with a dash and God as they are because in the Hebrew language there are no vowels. Rabbi Jacobs. I have known Thomas Edward Beckham, who has been a friend of mine for nearly 15 years. I remember when he became a rabbi, he was always trying to teach Gentiles about the Hebrew faith and getting into trouble. I was thoughtless when I heard about him being some kind of secret agent or whatever in the JFK assassination. This, I told myself, could not be the loving, kind, and understanding man I know. But after a while, I remembered something he said in a meeting in Los Angeles. Yesterday does not matter. We've got to stop living in our past if we're ever going to change. Yesterday is gone. We have only today that will also become yesterday. Then I knew this was and was not my friend. He was not the same old person he once was. He is now a fine person. Dr. Frank E. Stranges. I've known Rabbi Dr. T.E. Beckham for nearly 35 years. Whatever he does it well. He's a fine family man who is always self-giving. He's a very well-educated in religion, psychology, and naturopathy medicine. I think that he has written a very educational book that will answer or bring together missing parts of the JFK investigation. I wish him only the best. Dr. Frank Stranges. Bishop Robert Elemen. Our church has had Brother Beckham talk with us in our services more than a dozen times over the years. I knew very little about his background, and I could care less. All I knew and care to know is that he's a man of God. He knows more about the Word of God than most religious teachers do. As far as his book, I wish him only the very best. And I know God is with you, Dr. Beckham. Stand firm like you teach my Jewish brother. Bishop Elemen. Dr. Wayne Crichton. Dr. Beckham has been my brother in the Lord for the last 18 years. I met him when he was talking about the Hebrew faith in a meeting, and we remained friends. He's one of the few men of God who gives himself 100%. He's written booklets and tracts on hundreds of subjects. He has also written the educational program in pastoral psychology that is used by thousands of accredited pastoral psychologists. I wish my rabbi friend all the best with his book on the JFK investigation. I know whatever he does it well. Wayne Crichton, Ph.D. Dr. Estelle Maddox. I've read a great deal about the JFK investigation by the Warren Commission and New Orleans DA Jim Garrison. I know people really want to know the truth if at all possible. When my friend Rabbi Beckham and I talked about it, I told him he should write a book giving his side of things that he knew. I told him it might bring some of the facts together. I'm glad he's done it at last. He said his son Tim, who is a firefighter, helped with putting the public relations together, while his younger son Brian helped him arrange all the facts. Then, within a little over 3 hours of typing, his book was on paper ready to publish. I knew he could do it. He's a great public speaker and a man of God. His book has joined many people together in the JFK investigation. It makes a lot of things very clear. It seems that Jim Garrison was on the right trail with his investigation. Dr. E. Maddox. Fear as I knew it. I knew that many people will say that I should have come forward sooner, but I was overcome by fear. And now with my training in psychology, I know that fear is the painful emotion caused by the anticipation of impending danger or evil. Fear is also closely related to the instinct of flight. Fear causes even a physical change in our bodies. The brain cells flush instantaneous messages over our body, among other, to the suprarenal glands or adrenals, just over the kidneys, and to the thyroid gland in the neck. Instantly, these glands pour forth adrenaline and thyroid secretions into the blood, and the body responds. Blood pressure rises, brain cells speed up, the liver pours forth glycogen. It's ready to burn fuel. Sweat glands send forth cold perspiration in order to regulate temperature. Blood is pumped out of the stomach and intestines to the external muscles. In many cases, massive fear can cause even loss of eyesight or even speech. Humans react physically when we are frightened. The psychologists who tell us that fear is a self-preservative instinct should add a number of qualifications to the statement. I feel that fear is more of an emotion rather than an instinct. It is an emotion or feeling which is associated with the flight instinct. It's the awareness of danger. I say this to show the reader how powerful fear can be, and was to me. Now I'm much older and have been in cancer remission for 2 years, heart trouble, and much wiser than I was over 45 years ago. Until you've walked in my shoes, you really don't know me or anything about me. I've seen, done, and been more places than anyone can ever imagine. And even with sleep, I am still reminded of my past. The only peace, shalom, I have is knowing there is a God who knows me better than I know myself. There will be many who will not see things my way, but I remember the old Hebrew Jewish teaching that says, "He comes to ruin who says that others are not equal to himself, for he uses only his own views. But a workman bent on good work will first sharpen his tools, for God has shown me not to judge or discredit anyone or call any man common or unclean. For the rich and poor meet together at judgment." On the following pages, I have listed just a few of over 2,000 honors, degrees, and titles I have proudly received to date. I could not list all of them in this book. I've received a number of honors from other countries, of which I am very proud, but to others they mean nothing. I presently speak at meetings around the country and teach at Life Management Inc., social service clinic. I enjoy helping people whenever I can. I travel whenever I can. When asked to speak on religion, natural health, and pastoral psychology, as well as many other subjects, I have done a number of motivating speaking engagements. And then we have a signature again from Mr. Beckham in this book. Wish I could have to more, Beckham. All right. So let me see. We got about 20 pages of these weird letters and documents. I'll skim through them real quick. The first one, July 12th, 2005 CE, to Dr. Thomas Edward Beckham, Lord Woolstaston. Oh, so we went by Lord Woolstaston. Dear Lord Woolstaston, I trust you're pleased with your new minted noble status. You're entitled to be addressed as Lord Woolstaston the first time someone speaks to you, and my lord after that. You and your son are now members of the Privy Council, made up of all equestrians and nobles, and you may vote for Prime Minister of the Privy Council on court day every year. Woolstaston is a manor in the subsidiary barony of Longden. It's the name in the Domesday Book, 1086 CE. It is Eulastanistune, and it contains a hall and remains of 13th century castle, which will be your responsibility to rebuild for the defense of the realm. The manor lies in the hundred of Rousset and is bucolic. We trust this meets with your approval. We welcome you to the ranks of the barony's nobility. That's from John 1, Baron of Koch. This secret society shit's fucking funny. More certificates of naturalization. Certificate of completion for Thomas Beckham. He's completed levels of alcohol and drug awareness management studies. Next one is United States. Oh, he was in the Coast Guard now. See, these are all fake documents, right? He was a document manufacturer connected to the fake churches with all these fake documents, right? United States Coast Guard letter. It says he's in the Coast Guard. And we've got International Theological Seminary of California to Thomas Beckham, Doctor of Theology. Guy never graduated high school, and he's got a Doctor of Theology. Certificate of Field Supervision, the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary certifies Rabbi T.E. Beckham. Just note, anybody listening who's a researcher, all these names I'm reading out of these organizations are CIA fronts. So just keep that in mind if you want to research them. Then we have the Maryland State Homeopathic Medical Society certificate. Board of Examiners, International Association of Pastoral Psychology, another fake organization. The International Board of Human Relations, Psychology, Social Work, Medical Policy Studies. By order of the General Director, the certificate is presented to Dr. Thomas Edward Beckham for worldwide dedication of person and professional service, given this 10th day of April 2006. Certificate number, it's got that shit on there. Wow. The name of the General Counsel's last name is Coffee. I wonder if there's a relation to Melvin Coffee. The Governor of Oklahoma. This is a fake. It's another honorary citizen of Oklahoma. Westbrook University, Thomas Edward Beckham, College of Natural Healing Arts and Sciences. Department of Continuing Education certifies that Thomas Edward Beckham, CME Online Mental Health, Sequelae of Extreme Violence, 2005. What's this one? Another forgery from this is from the Arkansas Traveler. I don't know what the fuck they need a certificate for. Harvard Medical School, Department of Continuing Education. So now Beckham went to Harvard. Nope, that's a fake. House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Citation for Rabbi T.E. Beckham. That's probably another fake. Commonwealth of Kentucky, Martha Lane Collins, governor. She made Beckham a Kentucky colonel. That's a fake. General Assembly, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Representative E. Porter Hatcher Jr. writes a letter to all my supporters of my district. I'm proud to support and endorse T.E. Beckham for election to the office of Kentucky State Railroad Commissioner in the 25th Democratic state primary election. Mr. Beckham is an honorable man and should receive your support and vote this Tuesday, the 25th. Please vote for him. That's E. Porter Hatcher Jr. That's interesting because there's a picture here of an old white guy shaking hands with an old black guy. I wonder which one Beckham is in this picture. Russ Maple, County Commissioner, Chenoweth Lane, Louisville, Kentucky, dated 98. Beckham, you almost made it look easy. Congratulations. Also, thanks for the picture. I think we have another page here. May this book serve as a source of increased spirituality, motivating us to do the things which are right and just. The classic Jewish statement of ethics is most simple. The Ten Commandments, which the world recognizes as a religious masterpiece, but so rarely follows, composed of just 72 Hebrew words. There is no complicated theology here. You shall or you shall not. In this simplicity is to be seen the Jewish approach to God and people. One does not become involved in doctrinal disputes, dogmas, or other philosophical complications. The approach to God and morality must be simple and direct. Rabbi T.E. Beckham. Every controversy conducted for God's sake will in the end will prove fruitful. We have another page here. It says, who really killed JFK? We have the proof, but no one wants to prove. Why was JFK killed? We know why. The CIA, the mob, and the Cubans all wanted him out of power. Funny, a Jew's deflecting blame to Israel, away from Israel. Out of office, but no one wants to prove it. There will be book after book, big and small, with detailed information about the JFK killing, but until someone with power does something, nothing will ever be done. Before long, it will just be covered up in history. This is not the end. It may well be the beginning. And we have a bunch of credits, and that's about it. So it's a very fascinating book. It's a very rare book, and big props to my boy Jim for scooping that up. What a fucking find that is. Holy shit. It's the best Kennedy book I've ever found, or he's ever found, or anyone's ever fucking found. Probably the rarest, probably less than a couple hundred copies, and he got a signed copy. Fucking so jealous. But hey, you win some, you lose some. And I got a stack of fucking rare fucking Kennedy books too. So, all right, guys, that's going to be doing it for me today. And I'll be back tomorrow with more of the testimony of Lillian Moret. Thanks.